Hello, everyone. Welcome to the live stream. We are back. I see we've got Global Hop E in the chat, Marcus Samoas, and Artblade. Good to see you guys. Hope you're having an excellent weekend. I finished the rough draft of the new Aegis of Merlin novel, and I've been kind of taking it easy this weekend, recharging the batteries, as it were. I can't remember who it was that recommended it, but I watched the first 2 episodes of Vox Machina on Amazon Prime night before last. It was interesting. See, Darwin Dominguez is here. Good to see you, Darwin. Connor McLean, good morning. Glad to finally catch you live. Thanks for all the entertainment you provide. Yeah, you're welcome. Glad you could make it. Good to see you. Philip Metcalf, greetings. Good to see you. Marcus Samoas, you were the one that I recommended it. Yeah, it was an interesting show. I watched the first 2 episodes where they fought the dragon. That might be the most swearing I've ever heard in a cartoon. So that was certainly not what I expected. But the animation was good and the story was pretty good. So I'll definitely be giving the next arc a try, maybe tonight. Marcus Mo says, I just started the anime about The Exorcist. Yeah, it's really good. I watched the new one this morning or yesterday. I can't remember. But yeah, that's quite a good series. I like that one. Darwin Dominguez says, I need to finish the last book. I've been super busy. Well, no need to rush. It'll be there for a while. Blood Boy says, I missed last week, but I'm here this week. Hey, James. Hi. Good to see you. Glad you could make it this week. Marcus Smo says, yes, Vox Machina is a very adult language show. Yeah, I'm not sure just what I expected, but I don't think I expected quite that much swearing. Dreamwalker Paranormal says, big fan of your work, better than most. I appreciate that. Thank you. I'm glad you could make the live stream. Ursula T says, hello, finally made it today. Good to see you, Ursula. Glad you could stop in. Glad Boy says, I love all your work. Thanks for posting them. Oh, you're welcome. I'm glad to hear you're enjoying my stories. Dreamwalker Paranormal says the Portal Wars are one of my favorites. Oh, thank you. I'm glad to hear it. That's definitely my most popular series. I think I mentioned it last week, but I got the Discord set up and I saw a bunch of familiar names over there, so that's been kind of fun. I've been posting a few pictures I made with the AI art program of some of the characters for my stories. I had a request for the Imperial family from the Soulbound saga. So far, I have, let's see, the Emperor and his son, the Crown Prince, and I did Anna Maria first, just as a warm up to see what I could get, and I think all 3 of them turned out pretty well. I figured I made a channel for sharing fan art, so hopefully everybody will post. Playboy says, where can we find the Discord info? I think the link is in the description. I'm pretty sure I added it to the description of this video, and I know it's in the last one. So, yeah, you should be able to find it in the description of either this or the last video. So I could probably find it here and post it in the chat. Let's see. Oh, never mind. Artblade got it. Thanks, Art. I did find it though, so. Dreamwalker said, I love that one. Just finished it. I assume he means the Portal Wars. Blade Boy says, thanks out. You're welcome. Good. I hope to see you over on Discord. I pop in a few times a day to reply to comments, and it's been interesting. I thought it was going to be more complicated to set up, but it ended up being fairly simple. Marcus Samoa says, I use my son's Discord. That's good. Yeah, it's I've got channels for fan art, anime, TV and movies, books. There's even a section if you want to talk about spoilers. It's a special separate section so you can discuss stories that you've read, and anybody that pops in will know they might see something. They might see something, that gives away part of the plot. So somebody suggested that, and I thought that was a really good idea. So that way people who are interested can discuss it without worrying about giving anything away. Dreamwalker says, I drive trucks and listen to your books all day long when I drive. Oh, that's awesome. I get a lot of truck drivers, so that's very cool. There was a tweet. I was flipping through my Twitter, and Razorfist said that 2023 YouTube is just background noise for people folding laundry. And I replied that my YouTube was a background noise for people driving trucks. So I thought that was kind of funny. Mohammed Laving says, hello, James. Which of your books are you most proud of? I'm pretty proud of all my books. It would be hard to pick just one. Blind Boy says, what is some of the genres you work you are thinking about writing next? Let's see. I really want to do an isekai story. I've got an idea for one. It's just a matter of getting caught up on a few other projects before I start it. I've got to finish editing the new Portal War saga. Then I'm going to finish the epic fantasy trilogy I was working on, and then I think I'll write the fifth and final book in the Rogue Star sci-fi series, and then we'll see. Ursula T says, I forgot everything. How do you Discord? It's sort of like a private chat room. You just click the link, and you might have to make an account, and then you can comment in the various channels. And it's surprisingly simple. It's basically like a forum, a private forum for different. You can make your own. There's also an audio channel that I haven't messed with yet, but that might be something to try out later. Playboy says, what is, I'm not sure what you were asking there. Dreamwalker says, Soulbound is the one I just finished. Oh, good. Yeah, that was a fun series. Marcus Samoa says, I'm in the middle of a Solomon Kane book. Yeah, I've got the Solomon Kane hardcover collection on my shelf behind me. Artblade says, James, not sure whether or not we ever discuss Orson Scott Card as one of those sci-fi authors worth reading. He's probably best known for Ender's Game. The movie was horrible, but I've never read any of Orson Scott Card's books, but I did see the movie, and you're right, it was pretty terrible. I do have one of his writing books, though, that was quite good. So, Marcus Smo says, yes, isekai and James' style like peanut butter and jelly. Yeah, I think that would be a fun would be a fun thing to try. Scott Smith says, "Hey James, hi Scott, glad you could make it. Thanks for stopping." Art Blade says, "As to Orson Scott Card, I got 8 books of the series. Ender's Game is among them." Yeah, I knew that was a longer one. I don't really know what it's about, other than what I know from the movie that was dreadful. Dreamwalker says, "What do I have planned next?" Well, I've got a bunch of editing to do, and then I'm going to write the 3rd book in the epic fantasy trilogy I've been working on. It's set in Coltsland in the Portal Wars world. It's set right after the events of the Chamber of Eternity. So that should be a fun project to finish up. Rob Elder says, "Thanks for all your sharing. Really helped my stay in the hospital. Have you thought more about continuing the Portal War saga with the 10 cities across the ocean?" I'm doing a spin-off series set in Coltsland. That's the trilogy I was just talking about. So, but Otto isn't going to be in that one. So, but it's a spin-off from that story. Scott Smith says, "Will you be adding more to Otto's journey?" That's one of the things I've been trying to decide on. I have an idea for a story. I just haven't decided when I'm going to do it. Either later this year or next year, depending on what I decide I want to do next. So we'll see. Ursula T says, "Thanks." Yeah, you're welcome. I hope to see you over on Discord sometime. That should be fun. Dreamwalker says, "Definitely should do a movie." That would be cool, but definitely outside of my control. Marcus Simone says, "Hey guys, less than 10 days until The Mandalorian season 3. I'm so happy." Yeah, I see that season 3 was coming up. When it's completely out, I might get a month of Disney Plus just to watch that. Dreamwalker says, "Nice. I do like how they come together." That's good. Kaludi Chowdhury says, "Hi James, when are you going to upload another of your books? I'm getting withdrawal symptoms." It's going to be a while, unfortunately. It takes a while to write, edit, and get recorded an audiobook, unfortunately. I know Joe is recording The Lightning, a clean copy of The Lightning. I'll probably post that in March sometime. And then, I don't know. I'm getting the rights back to the first book of the Soul Force saga at the end of the year. So I'll start posting that as soon as I get them. But it's definitely going to be a little while. Scott Smith says, "You're amazing. You've helped me a lot, and I bet a lot of other people through some very tough times." Well, I'm glad I could do that. I figure as a writer, my job is to distract from the real world. So if I've managed to do that for anybody and help them through anything, that's great. I'm happy I could do that. Let's see. Oh, they were talking about over on the Discord. We're talking about an old sci-fi series, and I didn't. Just let me check. Maybe I can find it. See if you guys have heard of it. Let's see. Robert A. Heinlein. That was the one they were talking about. Somebody was reading a Robert A. Heinlein novel. I haven't read any of his books, so I didn't have much to add to the discussion. Marcus Smo says, "James, will we see the Children of the Void again?" Yes, they're definitely going to be. They're definitely going to be in the final book. Heartblade says, literally rang a bell then, LOL. Yeah, I got a text message come in and it popped up on my screen. Sorry about that. I'm not exactly sure how to mute text on my computer, so. Dreamwalker says, thanks. I've listened to all your books on YouTube, thinking about Audible so I can get all the ones that aren't on YouTube. Yeah, you can, let's see, you can get them pretty much, I don't know if they're anywhere but Audible. I know some of them are, but yeah, I licensed out a bunch of them to audiobook publishers, and I'll be getting back the rights to them over the course of the next 3 years. And when I do, I'll be posting them on my channel. So, but it'll take a little while. Scott Smith says, I wish they would make a TBH series of the Portal Wars. I think it would be the next big thing. Do you have a personal favorite series you've written? A TV series. Thanks, Scott, for clarifying. I liked all my series as I was writing. I enjoyed writing them. Once they were done, I kind of moved on. But I really enjoyed the Dragonspire Chronicles. That was a fun one. And of course, I like the Portal Wars, and I liked all of them because that's why I wrote them. I had to get the story out and see what happened. But I have a hard time picking a favorite. It's I suppose it's like a parent picking their favorite kid, Although I guess some parents probably don't have that much trouble. Dreamwalker says, I love the love story in all your books. Oh, good. Thanks. As a Track says, do you ever reread your novels? I do. I'm actually rereading The Aegis of Merlin right now because I wanted to get a couple of details from something I said earlier in the series right for the book I'm editing. So, yes, I do. I quite often reread, like if I'm adding another book to a series, I'll either reread the one before it or reread the whole thing to get it fresh in my head before I start. So, yes, definitely. Global Hop, he says, I'm in. Good to see you, Global Hop. Glad you can make it. Ian Creech is here. James, I made it. I hope all is well with the Wisher community. Yeah, we're all good here. And here's Big Pete. Glad you can make it, Pete. Better late than never. Definitely. Kaludi Chowdhury says, you said you were going to do a continuation of the Portal Wars. When can we expect that? Hope soon. Yeah, I don't know. I have an idea, but I haven't really sat down to flesh it out or anything. I'll either write it probably late this year or early next year, but not anytime soon, unfortunately. Dreamwalker says my books are addictive. Thanks, I appreciate that. Addictive is definitely what I'm going for. Zatraxa says I didn't mean for professional reasons, but for enjoyment. Sometimes. Usually if I'm reading something, I like to read something new, so I don't know what happens. Marcus Moa says, I love the story of the lightning. Can you tell me more about? It's a prequel novella set before the start of the Soul Force saga. It's about it follows Damien's parents before they got married and had him. It's a pretty fun story. I enjoyed writing it. It'll be nice to hear Joe's recording of it because that's the one I recorded myself with the sound effects and music, and my talent as a voice actor is nowhere near as good as his. So I'm quite excited to hear how it turns out. Heartblade says, as to Robert Heinlein, reading his works these days is a bit weird because he published in the 1950s to the 1970s. It's hard fiction and science has moved on quite a bit since. Yeah. The person who posted it mentioned he was having a little bit of trouble with some of the old-timey stuff. But he was enjoying the stories. So I suppose if you overlook any of the things that have moved on, it can still be interesting. I read a lot of old detective stories from the 20s and 30s, and they have some really dated language as well. Global Hoppy says, "You are one of the inspirations of my writing career, so I hope I get to be anywhere as great as you. Stumped right now, so I'm going back through some of the stories you wrote to fuel my imagination." Well, I hope I can help. It's nice to know, that you inspire somebody to write. Makes me think I did something right with my storytelling. So hopefully, whatever you're working on turns out awesome. Marcus Mo says, "You like The Thin Man." I don't believe I've read that one. My favorite of the old detective stories is The Maltese Falcon by Dashiell Hammett. Both the movie and the book are probably two of my favorites. Zatraxa says, "Have you watched Star Wars: The Bad Batch season 2?" No, I haven't watched season 1 either. I don't have Disney Plus at the moment. I will probably get it for a month once The Mandalorian is fully released, and then I'll just binge watch everything that interests me and then cancel it again. That's what I did for Mandalorian season 2. So the track says it's terrible in my opinion. Oh, well, sorry to hear that. Modern Star Wars is kind of hit or miss. The only thing I've seen lately that I really enjoyed was The Mandalorian. I did, and this is probably a controversial opinion, but I didn't actually think the Han Solo movie was that bad. I mean, it wasn't great, but it wasn't bad. I mean, not as bad as everybody made it out to be, anyway. Dreamwalker says, "What's the next trilogy named?" It's the Immortal Apprentice trilogy. Is the name of it. Oh, The Thin Man. Dashiell Hammett wrote The Thin Man? In that case, I probably have read it because I've got an omnibus of Dashiell Hammett stories. It's got The Maltese Falcon and a bunch of other things he wrote. So yeah, I probably have read The Thin Man. I just can't remember it. Zatraxa says, "I don't know how many times they're going to recycle the old Rebels with no resources trope. I would love that they made some stuff about Revan or Vader or the Mandalorian Crusaders. Yeah, that would all be cool. I mean, assuming they did it well, which is assuming a lot, frankly. Revan is one of my favorite old Republic characters, so I would love to see a movie about him. Have you seen the somebody made a I don't know if an image or a picture of Keanu Reeves as Revan with the purple lightsaber? I thought that would be cool. Hi James, thanks for R6STJC said, "Hi James, thanks for all the books you posted on YouTube. I just went through all the Aegis of Merlin series on Audible and wanted to ask what the next series you post in a few months is." The next series I post. I'm not quite sure. You want to know what the next book in the Aegis of Merlin series is? That's coming out this late summer, early fall, and it's called Malice. That's the one I just finished the rough draft for. Ian Cree says, "I like the Solo movie." Oh, good. I'm glad I'm not the only one. Marcus Mo says, "It's not Han Solo. It's not bad. It's just a bad business move." Dream Marcus says he can't wait for the new trilogy. Good. Marcus Mo says, "Maybe in the Celebration 2023 they announce Revan the movie. Maybe that would be interesting. Dreamwalker says, "I like how your books tie in with one another." Yeah, that's part of the fun is putting in little Easter eggs from other series as I write new stuff. I do enjoy that, and I like having the same magical universe. It lets me use familiar, demon lords and archangels and stuff. So I do quite enjoy that as well. Zatraxa says, as far as I know, the Old Republic stuff got canceled recently. Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. They tend to cancel the stuff that actually looks interesting. Ursula T says, agree that Han Solo was not so bad. I just didn't like some of the backstories. Yeah, they changed a lot from his backstories from the books. I wasn't so crazy about that either. But if you just take the movie for what it was, I think it wasn't anywhere near as bad as people made it out to be. Kaludi Chowdhury says, have you thought of writing something similar to A Discovery of Witches? It's about vampires and witches. Wonderful books made into a TV series. I'm not familiar with it, but it might be interesting to write about vampires and witches. I've got vampires in some of my Aegis of Merlin books. Marcus Mo says, can you imagine action figures of your characters? Yeah, I can imagine it, but I don't know if you guys follow Ethan Van Sciver's channel, but he's been working on making Cyberfrog figures, action figures, and it's a horrendously expensive process. I wouldn't really want to get mixed up in it. Dreamwalker says it makes it more understandable. Yes, having some familiar stuff to build on, book to book and series to series, definitely gives you something to, draw it all together and help people move from one to the next. So I'm glad that helped you follow along. Tracks this. The only good thing about Bad Batch is how it ties the prequel trilogy and the original trilogy together, and showing some more important things that didn't make much sense. Like back before they did Rogue One, where how the Death Star's destruction made 0 sense, but God explained with the movie that the engineer built in a weak point. Yeah. It's interesting that that's the way they handle it in the movies. If I remember right, in the books, it was the Wookiee slaves they had working on the Death Star that put in the weak point. I could be wrong, but I think that's what they said it was in the Death Star novel. It's been a while since I read it, but so yeah, it was good that they explained it. Although it was kind of strange that they just made a completely different explanation. But it's Disney Star Wars. What do you expect? Let's see. As Attraction says, is that book canon or legend? I believe it's legends now, unfortunately. It's still a good book, though. If you want to read it, I'm sure you can find a copy. It actually makes it a little more sad, the destruction of the Death Star. It's this great yay moment. But the book is about the people on the Death Star. It's like there was 1 million people. And you don't really think about it, of course, but there's 1 million people on that space station that all died. So sort of a weird thing to think about, but it was a good book, so I definitely recommend it if you're interested. Big Pete says, I imagine the speed things are moving these days, producing your own merch and getting it to sale is right around the corner. Merch, maybe, like t-shirts and stuff could be possible, but action figures are a whole other thing. Zatraxis, I would love for them to bring new stuff from Legends like the Mother and Mandalorian Wars, and with the Chiss Ascendancy actually fought against. Yeah, that would all be cool. So like I said, assuming they do it well. But yeah, There's a lot of stories they could bring in. Dreamwalker says, can we get signed copies of your work? Yes, you can. I actually have a big order of paperbacks and hardcovers on their way from the printer. They should be here in a couple of weeks. I'll keep you guys up to date when I get them. It's a lot of it is to fulfill a Kickstarter that finished last month. But I ordered a whole bunch of extra copies. So anybody that wants something signed, I'll be offering them. I just need to get them listed on my store. Or you can, if you let me know what you're interested in. I've actually got on. You can probably see them in the corner right here. There's 2 sets of paperbacks that arrived ahead of the others for the Soulbound Saga. So if you want a set of signed paperback copies, I can sell them to you anytime. Just if you go to my website, jamesewisher.com, and use the contact information or the contact form at the bottom, and send me your name and address and email and stuff, I can figure out what the shipping will be and send you a PayPal invoice. So if that's, I don't know what series you're looking for, but that's the one I have in stock at the moment. David Knight, good to see you again. Always great to catch this live chat. David, glad you can make it. Good to see you. Zatraxis says, yeah, George Lucas never really was good with numbers. Same with how many clothes were made to cover the entire galaxy when it's only like 6 million. What do you think about putting illustrations in the book to visualize important plot points in the story to give them more gravitas? Yeah, I've thought about doing that. I thought it would be cool to like do a light novel version of my books. I just don't know how big the market is, because getting, probably 6 or 8 even black and white illustrations, it's probably going to cost you a couple $1,000s. So I'd have to figure out how many people were actually interested in that, and whether the the market is there. Marcus Mo says internal illustrations are more expansive. Sorry, Marcus, I'm not quite sure what you meant with that last word. Oh, how many clones that there were to cover the entire galaxy? Yeah, 6 million is probably not enough. Dreamwalker says, sweet. Says I can start another Kickstarter for that. Yeah, maybe. Oh, more expensive. Yeah, they definitely cost more money. Both just to get the artwork done, like I said, for one book would probably be a couple $1,000s, and then if I made them into ebooks and put them on Amazon, the art would make the file size bigger, and Amazon charges you 15 cents a megabyte for delivery. So, you're probably looking at $1 or $2 just for delivery if you add art to them. So that would, if I did that, it would have to be something exclusive to my my web store. David Knight says, maybe you could have a promo where fans turn in their art and potentially choose artwork. One of your fans, I could save you some money. I could save money, but it also creates all kinds of copyright problems. So I probably wouldn't do that. To be able to use the artwork in a book or something, you have to own the copyright. So I would definitely be hesitant to work with. It'd be cool. I'd love to see fan art and share it on the Discord and with you guys here, but I definitely couldn't. I don't think I could use it, anywhere like that was for sale. The try says, yeah, why not a special edition for your store? Yeah, that's definitely something I could think about. Art Blade says, I prefer books without illustrations because I rather stick to the image in my own mind while reading. Yeah, I know it's a split. Some people like one thing, some people like another. If I did illustrated editions, it would be in addition to, rather than just doing them. It would be something I'd have as an extra, If somebody was interested, they could pick it up for an extra whatever I'd have to charge. And if you didn't want one, you could just get the plain text version. So definitely wouldn't be exclusive, just a book with just the illustrations. Marcus Simone says, one thing we see in the Clone Wars is that the special was the judicial force and local militia and security forces fighting. I thought we did. I thought there was a one where Ahsoka went to train some local militias. I can't remember the name of it, but I could be wrong. But I thought there was at least one or two episodes like that. David Knight says, I hadn't thought about those issues. Yeah, you have to be really careful about copyright. Artblade says, special illustrated editions, perhaps. Yeah, something like that would probably be what I would do if I did it. Zatrisa says, I disagree with imagination, LOL. It's the author's story, so he certainly has a certain way how everything looks, the characters, etc. And when you imagine, you're working backwards from his description. Sometimes I actually, I will keep, the descriptions less detailed so people can imagine the characters how they want to. Unless it's vital for the plot. Generally, the descriptions of the characters aren't super important. I mean, they're kind of important, but Word and Picture says, do you get fan art, people, impressions of characters? I haven't gotten much. I had one person sent me some fan art, but that's all so far. I'm hoping now that I have the Discord with a special channel for fan art that I'll start to get more, but I haven't yet. Marcus says, Ahsoka training the future partisans. Yeah, I can't remember the episode. Saw Gerrera militia. No, I don't think it was them. It was on a different planet. Kaludi says, I can narrate one of your books for free if you don't mind a British accent. That's very nice of you to offer, but I think I'll stick with having Joe do them. It's not so much, I mean, his voice is amazing, but he also masters it. So it passes muster on Audible and stuff. So I don't know how to do any of that stuff. So I couldn't just take, anybody's recording and turn it into something, that would pass muster on Audible. Strider says, I never heard of that. Ian Creech. A colleague asked me to keep an eye out for a building that would work for a pickleball business. I thought of you. Same buddy is in a pickleball league, and the team name is Hot Balls. Oh my! Our team does well. We don't really have it like a league team or anything, but we definitely wouldn't name it that. Mostly because the bulk of our players are women. But yeah, we don't. We just play in an old high school gym. I've never actually played. I've played on asphalt and I've played on hardwood, but I've never actually played pickleball on a proper pickleball court. Big Pete says, wasn't it Helen of Troy was never described in detail, but generally described as the most beautiful? So everyone's imagination, their own vision of perfection. Yeah, that's right. The face that launched 1,000 ships was different probably for every soldier except the ones that had seen her in person. So, of course, assuming Helen of Troy was actually real. As Atraxis says, will you watch Andor as well, together with Mando and the Bad Batch? Probably. That was the only other thing that I thought looked interesting. I was hoping, I had higher hopes for Kenobi, but having seen some of the reviews and some of the highlights, I don't know if it'd be worth the time. Yeah. Marcus Mo says, how you decide the background sound for your books? I try to go with music that fits the mood of the scene. Dramatic if there's action, think of it like you're scoring a movie, basically. 1,000 subs before 2023. Barely made it. Yeah, glad you can make it. Good to see you. Still got 20 minutes, so you made it in plenty of time. As Drax says, Troy was real, so I don't think Helen is a fantasy. Probably not, but I'm sure there are. With a Greek legend, I'm sure there are probably some elements that were. What's the word I'm looking for? Made a bigger deal maybe than they were. Uh, 1K sub says, where do you get your thumbnails for your videos? They're the art for the book covers. I take the art. I take the art without the text, and that's the main image. And then I take the audiobook square, and I put that where the back cover text would go, and put a black outline, a 15 pixel black outline around it to make it stand out. And that's what I use for thumbnails. The art that Ben makes is so cool. I can't not use it wherever I can. Stress says, I really don't like that they don't have a distinction between normal audiobooks and one with multiple voice actors with sound effects and background music. In German, we have audiobooks and audio plays. Yeah, I don't know what I know there is a difference, but I'm not sure if they have something in the. I know it's not separated like in the store itself, but I think they probably say in the description. But I'm not sure. I don't really listen to audiobooks myself. It says like a theater play. Yeah, basically. Artblade says Marcus Simo's comment reminds me of the Squire with and without sounds. Yeah, I did the sound version first just because I enjoyed picking out music and stuff for it, but nobody seemed to like it. So I decided to just put the clean version up, and that's gotten like 50 or 60,000 views. So it was definitely the right call. As Atraxis says, no, it's a language thing. Oh, okay. I said, when you watch shows or videos, do you ever turn on 2-speed? Depends what I'm watching. If I'm watching like a podcast where I just want the information rather than something I'm trying to enjoy, I might turn it up to 1.5. But two times is a little bit too fast. I think the highest I ever go is 1.5 times. But yeah, sometimes I turn the speed up. Like if I'm taking a writing class and I just want to absorb the info without, like savoring it, definitely. 1K sub says, so difficult to find audiobooks that are on YouTube that are good books with a good storyline and actually belong to the author, since I don't want to give views to anyone who doesn't own the book. Yeah, no, it is. I've seen a lot of channels. I don't know if other authors aren't aware of it or they don't check or what, but until I started posting it myself, I would come on YouTube every quarter or so and just search my name and I'd usually find 2 or 3 books I needed to have taken down. It was kind of a pain. But since I started posting myself, I haven't seen as much piracy. I'm not sure why, but I'm glad. It's one less thing to worry about, one less headache. Marcus Mo says, will we see more flying ship in future stories? I don't have any plan, but I certainly wouldn't say no if I come up with an idea that would have flying ships in it. As Atraxa says, do you think it destroys the immersion and pacing of the given medium? Adding music? I don't know. I think it can add a little bit of excitement, but you have to. The trick is finding the right modulation for the volume. You don't want it too loud so that they can't make out what's being said, and I think that's where I might have messed up. Have you ever played a Final Fantasy game in the way of mixing technology with magic? Yeah, I played a few Final Fantasy games. Actually, my Urban Fantasy series has technology and magic a little bit, so. Marcus Mo says, "Did I read White Plume Mountain by Paul Kidd?" Oh yeah, I've got all the Greyhawk novels on my shelf back behind me. They were all quite good, as I recall. It's been a while. I don't think I've read those since, I don't know, maybe early 2000s. I'm not sure when it came out. Zatraxa says, people who watch pirated audiobooks on YouTube obviously get recommended the one with the highest views, and yours definitely has those. Yeah. That's one of the reasons I make sure to have any I find taken down. I don't want to have the pirates get the money. I want that ad revenue for myself, obviously. China says, no, I was talking about the playback speed, if that ruins the playback speed. Yes, if I was listening to a story, the playback speed would absolutely kill the immersion because it changes the voices, the voice actors' voices. So, yeah, no, I would definitely not use it on any kind of fiction thing. But if it's just like a nonfiction thing, like for a nonfiction podcast, I don't mind bumping it up a little bit. 1K says, I just finished the Portal War saga. Do you have any suggestions for other sagas? If you haven't tried the Soulbound saga or the Divine Key trilogy, either one of those is quite good. If you for epic fantasy. Marcus Simone says, I asked about the ships because one of my favorite games is Sky of Arcadia. It's about sky pirates. Oh, I'm not familiar with that game, but sounds interesting. Right Shift says, how many passes of editing do you before you're ready to publish a book? Let's see. I do the rough draft. Then I read it over once myself, fixing any typos or, glaring obvious plot holes. Then it goes to my copy editor, and I go through what she finds, and then proofread. And I go through that, and then I'm done. So 3, I guess. Something like that. Irish says, do you listen to audiobooks? I do not. I listen to my own audiobooks when Joe finishes recording them. I listen to them for mistakes, like proof listening, I guess you call it. And but that's all. I don't actually. You'll think this is funny since my channel is basically all audiobooks, but I don't actually particularly enjoy them. I'd rather read. I can read the book a lot faster than I can listen to it generally. Zatraxa says, did you finish the Lies of Locke Lamore? It's so hard for me to get through that weird way of dialogue language they use. I haven't tried the Lies of Locke Lamore yet. I'm currently reading an isekai novel, light novel. But yeah, I haven't read that one yet. 1K sub says, do you know how many books you've written? I do, 43. Well, 44 now since I finished a rough draft of the new Aegis of Merlin book. So 44 I've written, and 43 are either published or on pre-order. So Zatraxa says, what advice would you give to people who, like you, want to achieve living their dream and doing fulfilling work? I would say figure out what you want to do, and then figure out how to monetize it, and be patient. Keep working at it. You probably have to do something else for a while. I did a bunch of different jobs before the writing, really took off. But if it's important enough to you and you keep working at it long enough, you'll get there. I hope, usually. I suppose at the end of the day, there are no guarantees, but that would be my advice. Just keep working at it, and eventually you'll hopefully get where you want to get, end up. But yeah, that's about the best advice I can give. Marcus Smo says, what's your favorite Greyhawk book and character? That's tough. You know what I used to like? In Dragon Magazine, they used to have this thing called the Wizards 3. It was Elminster, somebody from Dragonlance and somebody from Greyhawk who would get together talking about magic, and that was quite fun to read. I don't know if you remember that, but that was a fun article. Every few months they had. Strive says, what do you spend the bulk of your money on? Like business stuff, audiobooks and editing, or audiobook narration and editing are probably my two biggest business expenses. And cover art. That's quite expensive too. 1K sub says, what book are you writing right now? I just finished Malice, which is the 12th book in the Aegis of Merlin series. And then once I finish editing that, I'll move on to the third book of the Immortal Apprentice series trilogy, which is the one I was talking about earlier, that's set in the in Colt's Land in the Portal Wars world. But right this second, I'm actually between projects just this second. I just started editing Malice this afternoon, so that'll probably take me another couple days, and then we'll see. R6 says, will you be putting any more of your books into bundles on Audible? Probably not. Audible plays such a crummy rate. I'm actually debating whether I want to put any more books on there after the Soulbound Saga is finished. Zai says, when did you stop playing video games and why? I didn't stop completely. I just don't really play computer game, like fancy computer games anymore. I just have too much other work to do and too many other things. And honestly, I'd rather read a book. I do play like those match 3 games and stuff like that just to relax. But I don't really get into anything serious gaming. Marcus Small says, we don't have that version of Dragon Magazine Brazil. This sounds like a funny idea. Yeah, it was a fun one. Vincent Angoni says, you're a busy guy. You do your own editing. I don't do my final editing. But I will reread. Once I finish it, I'll go back and check for obvious typos and any sort of plot holes and stuff that need to be fixed. But I have a professional editor I work with. She does 2 passes to check all the stuff I miss. So, yeah, I definitely, just my own editing wouldn't be enough. Lost Cause says, not sure if you'll be back in read. I know the chat is flooded. Thank you for sharing your work here. I love putting one of your novels on to listen to while working. You're awesome. Well, thank you. That's very kind. And Art Blade, yep, 5 minutes, and we'll be wrapping up the stream. It's been a good one. It's gone by pretty quick. In the Tower of Sorcery, the griffin is a construct. Is it possible for a young mage to build a construct that are only wings and attach it to his back and use it to fly? Yeah, in the book, Damien, he flies without a construct all the time. But I thought using constructs in the comics would look cooler. Righteous says, I'm working on my first novel, strongly thinking of splitting it out. Sounds like you're where I want to be, making a living writing. That's my goal since retiring from the Navy. Yeah, that's a good goal. I think it took me, let's see, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It took me about 10 novels before I was making enough money consistently to call it a full-time living. So, but if you keep working at it, you can get there. All right. There are no more questions. I think I'll wrap this one up. It was great to see everybody. Great conversation. Hopefully you'll all pop on over to Discord sometime so we can chat there as well. Oh, one more question just popped up. Just a sec. Ursula T says, do you ever read yourself your books to school kids and adults? No, I don't. I get stage fright in front of live people like that. I wouldn't work out very well. Okay, everyone's saying goodbye, so I will say goodbye. It was great to see you guys, and I'll talk to you next time.